barns where all the female prostitutes hang out. The gays just got a whole block. They don't just take one little corner. They take a whole block right around the correctional center. And I guess it's just closer when they get arrested for something. That's where to go. They hang out there and used to make jokes about you after you escape from this place. Just make sure it's a Friday or Saturday night and just take off your jumpsuit and run down the street with your underwear. Some guy will pick you up in 5 seconds. And, if you're a woman, you're going to have a little bit of trouble getting picked up. But now Sitzman, he picked me up. I was with him one time. The only reason I remember his name and stuff is because I stole his wallet.
Sitzman?
Sitzman.
Sitzman.
I stole his wallet. And I seen him on TV one time. He was talking, and this was like back in early part of the 80s or something. And I've seen that guy. He says, I know, and I thought, the person I was out with thought, I know where I've seen this guy too. And I don't want to tell anybody I know this guy, but
What is Sitzman?
He was a lawyer. He was.
Well, he was whose lawyer?
I don't think he was anybody's lawyer, but I know he was a big shot lawyer and stuff. He was working out of UNO or something like that. He was a legal advisor or something. He worked with, on some cases he worked, kind of funny, he worked on sexual abuse cases and stuff, prosecuting and stuff with the state for certain cases that were involved with, I think it was Sitzman or something like that. That was involved with some cases involving some people that might have had information with the Franklin case, which the guy who didn't have any information about Franklin because he was an idiot who was getting all his information from everybody else.
Were there some names on the bottom there that you missed?
Down here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was just a last name, and his name was, come on, you know that. So I went with, I got a better copy somewhere. Maybe in this file. Maybe the one we got in this file.
That's a photocopy, so you need the original.
Yeah, well, I had another photocopy of this same page that got a little bit more page on it. Okay, so it's in the, it wouldn't be in the victim info. It wouldn't be in the cult info.
Let me turn off the camera.
No, I got it. No. Kids' file, there's nothing else. It's like the blank file. Ah!
You got it?
Yeah, it was sitting right on the top. No wonder I took it. Just underneath a couple other pictures. No, that's not a good one. Murray. It wasn't on there, but I just remembered what it was.
Okay.
Center, because they were all like this one. Murray. He was a guy who hung around with Tom Harvey and King and stuff, and went out to lunch a couple times and stuff, and they got him drunk one time and ended up in bed with him. I don't think he was into that kind of stuff, because when he woke up he was kind of like going, where am I? He didn't remember anything.
What did he do? Murray.
He worked at the bank apparently, with King and no. And that was in '83 in Omaha. I didn't bother telling him what he did because he was remember. I figured, why should I tell him?
He was just drunk.
I don't think he,
You don't think he was one of them?
no, because he was upset at himself. And nothing ever happened since then, and I didn't see him around the bank for very much longer after that either. So.
He quit?
I don't know. He just never came around.
Well, did you hang around the bank? You told him the savings and loan there?
The credit union?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really hang around there, but I was there several times. I met several people and stuff. I went in there one time with a fake mustache on. Nobody recognized me, and I had sunglasses and a fake mustache. I was about 5 feet tall. I thought for sure they'd recognize me because I'd been there enough. Next two guys I've had to put together because they were always together at the same time. I believe they were probably brothers. Well, actually, they were brothers. They were twins. So I hope they were brothers. Tim and Mark Daniels, they were from Sioux City, Iowa, and they were involved with Larry King. And they were in their early 20s, and they were victims themselves. They were part of a group up there that was running with a bunch of teenage prostitutes at the time and stuff. And it's like a couple years ago, I guess, a bunch of teenagers in Sioux City, Iowa got busted for prostitution. The cops came out and said that the kids were running it themselves, which they weren't. But, of course, that's the cover-up for Larry King, because he was the one running them.
You talking about female prostitutes or male prostitutes?
Male prostitutes and female prostitutes. But they said that the kids themselves were running the show because one of the kids had files in his house or something. I don't know what the reason was, but I know the kid that had the file. You know, I knew one of the kids kept files and everything. So that's probably why they said that the kids ran it themselves, even though Larry King was the one that ran it. Him and one of his black buddies that was up there. And in fact, one of the other girls who right now is indisposed until probably June for anybody trying to talk to her because she's on parole and she doesn't want to.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
She
doesn't trust him, does she?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told her she was going to talk to Roy before she got out on parole. And I said, well, I told my brother, I said, when you talk to her, because my brother's going with her for a while, and I said, when you talk to her, tell her don't talk to Roy until she gets out of there. I says, because that'll be a sure way to get her parole tonight. They'll make her jam it just like they did me. So I says, I says, not to put Roy down.
She one of these girls?
She was one of the girls that went up there all the time and stuff and was involved with going to the parties and in Sioux City. And
Were the parties between Omaha and Sioux City?
they had a lot of parties between Omaha and Sioux City. It's like we flew out of Sioux City to Washington, D.C. quite often with Larry King. And yeah, there was a lot of parties.
Did you have any parties down here in Lincoln?
A couple, they were usually at the Hilton, which is...
Telephone? Just turn the phone.
Wow. Sounded like Jackie.
It's on. Okay, next. We're back.
Yeah, we were talking about anything in Lincoln went on. I just started talking about the Lincoln Hilton with Delaware and stuff. So,
Oh yeah, right. I asked you if anything in Lincoln.
so some things did happen in Lincoln, but not on a regular basis, and it wasn't very often.
Where did it take place?
Usually at the Lincoln Hilton.
And who would be involved?
Usually the stuff with Alan Barron, he'd pick up young guys from what was called the Boardwalk at the time with after hours and stuff.
That here in Lincoln?
Yeah, it was here in Lincoln. I don't know if it's still. It still was a gay bar and stuff, and there were like kids that would go in there like 14 and stuff, and they'd never even card them because they
Never even what?
card them.
Oh.
I mean, because they had a thing where if you drank, you had to have a stamp on your hand. If you didn't drink, then
They wouldn't even bother to card them?
Well, if you had a stamp on your hand, it meant that you were old enough to drink. If you didn't have the stamp, then they wouldn't give you a drink.
Yeah.
They'd give you a drink before they were out.
And who else was with Alan Bear? Well,
usually when Alan Bear came down here, it was usually with himself or young guys. So it's usually on his own.
Okay.
There's other guys that were from Lincoln that I don't know who they were, though. The next guy is also from Sioux City, Iowa, and I was with him 3 times. I was with both Tim and Mark Daniels, who we were talking about twice. And that was in 1982. And Jeremy.
How many, what's his occupation, age, and all that?
Jeremy?
Yeah, the next guy from Sioux City.
He was in probably his late 20s. He was a teacher in Sioux City, Iowa. And he was involved with Larry King in 1984 and was with him 3 times. And I was dealing with the parties and stuff like that in Sioux City. Next guy I was with 5 or 10 times. He was a guy named Charles Rogers, who found out supposedly committed suicide or something. sent him to cancer work and stuff.
What about his age and occupation or?
20s. I don't know what he did. All I know is that he was one of the king's lovers.
Black, white.
I think it was black.
So he was in Omaha.
Yeah. Twenties. So that's maybe 285. Next guy was with 3 terms. All I know is his first name was Mike, and he was a lifeguard, and he was from 60, Iowa. And that was in '84 at the same parties I met the teacher. And they seemed to know each other quite well.
Who took you to Sioux City?
Larry King. His trips with him.
Driving?
Yeah. Next guy is Keith Jacobson. He was from somewhere out in somewhere in Nebraska. I know he was kind of like lived on a farm in a small town and stuff. And recently they had him in the paper and stuff. He got arrested for supposedly buying some child pornography, and they came up and said that he was framed and stuff. And he got all of his charges dropped and stuff. And I know the guy was a pedophile and like little kids and stuff. And he just said, well, I didn't even look at it. I didn't even have a chance to know what it was even about and stuff yet. He filled out a survey saying that he was interested in young adolescents having, involved in sexual activity and stuff. And
where did he fill his survey out?
it was a post office sting. It was a sting operation by the government.
Oh, I see. Then he got the material and they arrested him and they dropped the charges?
He ended up dropping the charges because they said it was a setup. He was set up, and the government was creating crime by having this thing where you could buy the stuff from them, and then they get you in the gallery.
Why would they bother doing it and then drop the charges?
Well, no, they didn't bother doing all of it. They tried to charge him and stuff, but he had some big shot lawyers and stuff, partially involved with NAMBLA, partially involved with the gay movement all across the country and stuff, because he admitted he was gay. And
where'd that take place?
right here in Nebraska.
Lincoln or Omaha?
More toward the Lincoln area, I think, than Omaha. It was some smaller town. I'm not sure exactly where it was at, though. It was in us. Jacobson. He was,
How old was he?
probably in his 30s at the time. Close to not bad for so.
Did you tell me his occupation?
I'm not sure what his occupation was. I know he lived on a farm or something. So maybe he's a farmer. I don't know. That's from 84 to 86. The next guy was a guy named Harold Johnson. He was pretty involved in it.
That the camera on you? Did you check it?
Yeah. And
Harold Johnson.
he was involved with a lot of different people. I was with him for about 3 or 4 times. And he was involved with Bear, which Keith Jacobson knew Bear too, and they ran around together and stuff. Bear supplied Muslim boys and vice versa. He supplied Muslim boys from a smaller town from where he was at.
Occupation?
And,
Age?
probably 40s, 50s. Now he probably about 60s now. Next guy, all I know is that his name was Pierce, and that he was at the Dallas convention with Larry King.
Pierce?
Yeah. I don't remember anything else about him. All I know is that we did something one time. And also, there was a guy named Johnson there that they were both involved with the GOP garbage. That's what it is for the Republican Party, GOP. I don't know what GOP stands for.
Yeah, I don't know, Republican. They were both involved with the...
They were both at the Dallas convention at the...
Yeah, how many times did
Ranch.
they molest you?
Once.
Once each?
Yeah. They were in the same room at the same time. There's a couple of kids there. There's some stuff. Next one is Barney Franks. I mentioned earlier.
I remember the name, yeah.
Senator or congressman, I'm not sure exactly what he was. I know he's a politician from Boston, Massachusetts. He was involved with King and Nambour. I met him in Washington, D.C. several times. I met him in Boston several times at different locations. So it was kind of in several different places.
Total?
About 15 times. 10, 15.
How old is he?
He's probably in his 50s then. So he's probably in the 60s, I don't know.
And do you remember if he was a congressman or a senator?
I think he was a congressman. I'm not sure if he's a congressman or if he was a senator. So I've been trying to figure out. Yeah. But he was mainly involved with Larry King. And that's who I met him through, even though they had disagreements on politics. The reason was that Barney Franks was a Democrat and Larry King was a Republican. I was going to say homosexual, but they both were. And that's the only common thing they had about him, I think.
Was he black or white?
White. Older guy, kind of got you about by your build or something. So.
He was that well built? Don't laugh.
He's a little bit bigger, huskier size than, not a guy my size, which I don't know too many congressmen or senators that are my size. I don't know too many people who are. Next guy is a guy named Bob Gage. And he was from Los Angeles, and that was with not Larry King, but Alan Bear.
How many times?
With him, one time, but he was one of the main contacts for the drugs.
In Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Did this sexual act take place in Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm.
What was the occasion for you being in L.A. at that time?
Huh?
Why were you in L.A. at the time?
I was there with Case, and we were there to mainly, in '85, I was just picking up packages and bringing them back to Omaha, and when I found out what the packages were, and I kind of didn't want to pick them up anymore.
You were with Case?
Again, well, I call him Chase. I said Case, but I missed the letter.
C-H-A-S-E?
Yeah.
And who is he?
He was a guy that I used to go around on scavenger hunts for Larry King, or not Larry King, but Alan Bear. I keep getting those two mixed up because they're almost tied in with everything, or together with everything, so I get them tied up all the time. And Chase was from Omaha, but he was always one that was sent with me to go and pick up and go and get other kids from other cities.
So how was this guy involved in the drug operation out there, Gage?
Gage,
You know his
I'm not sure if he was a customs agent or what, but I know that he was close friend. I know that every time I went there and stuff, he was always involved in the airport and stuff. Sometimes he had a uniform on, which was a security, like a customs kind of lawyers and stuff. It was at the international airport in L.A.
I live about 5 miles from there.
So.
Well, tell me about it. How would you pick up the drugs and all that? And how was he involved in the drugs?
How was he? I don't know how he was involved, but I know that he knew that they were the drugs because a lot of times when he'd bring the stuff to the hotel and stuff, he'd be talking to Chase and they'd open it up and Chase would check and make sure that everything was there. Sometimes they'd take stuff out and they'd weigh it. And
would he bring the stuff to the hotel room? How did you know they were drugs?
I know what cocaine looks like.
Okay. Did you taste it or anything?
No. I was in the bathroom usually, kind of usually peeking around. And
did somebody say that that's what it was?
Well, when they're talking about it, you can kind of get the picture of what it is when they're talking about cocaine, because they're talking about, it's the best nose candy you can get.
Best what?
Candy. No, best nose candy you can buy. That's cocaine. Well, I don't know. I never snorted cocaine. I never did cocaine. I never wanted to.
Well, did this guy come to the hotel in his uniform?
He came to the hotel. No, I never came to the hotel in his uniform. We picked up stuff from the airport, we go to the airport. We get off our plane. We would be going in this thing, and they had this. It's kind of, you probably know what it's like going through customs.
Yeah.
And they have a room or something.
Yeah.
Well, he'd come out of the room with a bag.
You get off a domestic flight.
Yeah, we get off a domestic flight.
Where would you meet him there?
We would have to go through. We go through the airport. We go to where they have the customs offices at and stuff. You have to go all over the place to get there inside the airport because they got it off in one place. But we'd go there. He'd go in this room. He'd come back out and give us a package and say that everything was checked out okay.
Now he had a uniform on there.
Yeah, had a uniform on and stuff.
Okay.
So he'd just, he'd give us the bag, and we'd usually just walk away. Or sometimes we did this several times, stuff where we actually flew in, got on a flight that came in from another country, which wasn't hard because they fly us to California, and then we take a plane to somewhere else.
Wait a minute, you get on a flight that would take you out of the country?
Yeah.
Did you have a passport or a visa or anything?
Well, you can get fake passports.
I know, but did you have them?
Yeah, we had fake passports all the time.
Well, did Gage put you on
When we
these?
went there, when we got there and stuff, we always had the fake passports with us because Alan Bear had them already set up and stuff. I had 4 or 5 passports under 4 or 5 different names.
And who gave you those passports?
Alan Bear did. He's the one that got them all for us, and we went to California with him several times. He had some of his friends that worked in that department make up all these passports and stuff, so we could just.
What department?
What is it? I don't know what department it is. There's an office.
You applied for your passports at the post office.
Yeah.
Is that where you got them?
Well, in California, yeah.
Huh?
In California, yeah. We had to go in there, we had to go through this stuff, but it wasn't that hard because we just went in, they took our picture, and the guy who made out the passports gave it Alan Bear and says, well, they've got 5 new identities.
Wait a minute, where would you go? In California or here?
In California.
And there was an office out there where you'd walk in? Was there an
office
official
at Alan
government?
Bear. I don't know. I don't know what it was. All I know is we went in, that guy took our pictures. I don't remember what the building was, what they were doing in there. I don't think it was a post office because it didn't look like one.
What an official government building.
No, but the guy had all the right equipment to make out real fake passports.
Well, was there any money exchanged?
I believe so, but I never seen it. I mean, I'm sure there was.
So he'd have 5 passports for each one of you then?
Yeah, well, he had a bunch of passports, and there was like 5 of us kids, and he took us, and we go in there and stuff, and it's like, I remember some of the passports, names and stuff, and it's like, probably wouldn't do no good because they probably wouldn't be on record anymore. I mean, if this guy made them up, they
You remember some of the names?
Michael Kelly.
Were you?
Yeah. John Ryan. Theodore Bayer. I should give me one of Alan Bear's last names. Can't remember the other ones, but I never used them. The main one I used was Theodore Bayer.
Okay, so you'd go to L.A., you'd go over to customs with your fake passport.
You get on a plane to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii you go to the Philippines.
Okay.
And
What was the purpose of this trip?
To pick up drugs. Although we didn't know, we'd get to wherever we were going, they'd give us packages, we'd bring them back, and when we got here, our packages never seemed to go at the rest of the people's that were coming in for the international flight. Our packages never went the right way. Our packages always went in another direction. Because
And who was there?
customs agent was always there.
Was the customs agent always there?
There was customs agents who would always be there and stuff. And it wasn't always Bob Gage. Sometimes another customs agent, he'd sit there and we'd get off the plane and he'd say, we've been waiting for you. We'd get your packages already.
The other agent would say that.
The other agents would say that, some of the other ones.
Yeah.
And just one, there was a couple other ones that did too. Every time we went in there, they were
How many customs agents were involved in L.A.?
Maybe just 2 or 3, but there were ones that always came up and had our packages for us. I thought it was kind of strange when they did the packaging and stuff that ours seemed to go off a different direction.
Did you suspect they were drugs?
I didn't suspect there were drugs until I started seeing it in '85 when I started looking out the door and seeing him talk about his nose candy. And I actually
At the door of the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'84, I suspected what it was, but I didn't want to get too nosy because I had, it's like Chase told me, because I asked him one time, I said, what's in the package? He says, don't get nosy. He says, you'll disappear if you do. So I never bothered.
Why did they bring you along? You were just a witness.
With the drugs?
Yeah.
Well, the reason they brought me along and stuff was because I was a kid. Kids are easier to get stuff past than adults, and it's like, because in '85 I looked like I was probably about 12 years old, I could act like a brat and I could really drive custom agents crazy, and they just let you get out of there. It's like,
is that what you did?
I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go really bad. Where's the bathroom at? It's like the custom agent. A lot of times if there was a legitimate one there and stuff, the other one would just take the bag if there was one there. And he'd I'd drive the person crazy, or the other kids that were with us would drive the person so batty that the one agent that was probably on the up, that was right, was honest and stuff, would get so frustrated that he'd probably overlook something by the fact that the other agent would probably grab the bag or push it past, or you could push it past or something, or sometimes they just get you out of there. But you got a bratty kid stuff, it's like you kind of draw attention away from trying, what it was is a diversion. It's kind of doing that, or it's like we had one kid that was, he'd pee his pants on call. And,
you give him a word and you pee him, huh?
Well, no, it's just like when we were going through the customs, I always wondered why this kid always seemed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
If you stand there, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, he went, and it's like the custom agent was standing right next to him or something. And it's like the guy was like, oh, no. It's like, well, we gotta get you guys out of here real quick,
Yeah.
So they never suspected it. I don't think.
Who all would be there? How many adults?
Usually just a couple. Sometimes they pose as your parents, sometimes they pose as...
You hear any women, older women, pose as a mother and father?
Yeah.
Who were these people? You never saw them again after that?
I seen them when we went on the trips. And it's like, like one lady I met, her name was Thelma, her name was Teresa, her name was Jackie, her name was,
Different names, different trips.
Yeah, different names for every trip. And so I never bothered asking what her real name was.
Who was she with? Who was the adult?
The guy? I don't even know. It was sometimes different. It was usually the same guy, though. It was sometimes different, but usually it was the same guy.
Can you draw an artist's conception of those two people?
I have drawn an artist. I got that one picture of her that I showed. Yeah, somewhere in here. I don't know exactly where it's not. I know where it's not at. It's not right where I can find it. Actually, it is right here.
What's the artist's conception?
She's also the one that was with Linda. She looks like Linda Benz, there's two people that look exactly like her.
We're going to probably get a better picture of this. Want to try to zero in on that?
Yeah.
She's young, isn't she? How old is she?
Probably in her mid-20s.
You don't know where she's from or anything?
Mm-mm.
Would she bring the drugs all the way back to Omaha?
No, they stopped in L.A.
And who'd bring the drugs from L.A. to Omaha?
We would.
The kids would, huh?
Chase and me and...
So she would just travel overseas with you?
Yeah, I knew her as Linda or Lisa, but she was with this guy in Colorado, which was supposedly her husband, I think.
You got an artist's conception of the guy?
Not presently with me. Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah. I get it.
She's pretty. You ready?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it focused back on the chair.
Let's set that aside. I want to make sure I have a photocopy of that. The things that we want to photocopy, we'll set aside over here.
A lot of stuff.
Okay. How many countries did you go to?
The Philippines, I went to Mexico, Canada, England, Germany, the Netherlands, lots of times. Amsterdam.
You're talking about a lot of heavy-duty runs, aren't you?
Yeah, the Netherlands weren't for drugs, though. That was for pornography only. Solid pornography. In fact, bringing back probably about a ton of it. Maybe more than that even. A couple of crates full of
Did you
child
take
pornography.
porno over?
No. Came back with it, but never took it over.
And did you ever see the pornography?
Yeah.
Where would you, who would tell you to go over there and do that?
I was sent over there by people from NAMBLA. I was sent over there by different groups that were wanting child or kiddie porn. And we'd go over there and stuff, and a lot of times we'd bring it back in our suitcases and stuff. And I mean, magazines don't pick up on their metal detectors. Magazines had nothing picked up, so they never checked our bags. I mean, kids, they never really checked our bag stuff, and then the luggage that went in the compartments, they never checked.
Well, you said you brought back a carton or container?
Well, they brought back, one time, or actually about 2 times we went, they had these crates, I mean, big wooden crates and stuff, and the person we were with was supposed to be bringing back, they were supposed to be regular magazines and stuff, which if anybody would open the crate, the first 5 magazines in each stack were just on the top and on the bottom. And there was like 50 to 100 magazines. I think it was like 100 magazines each box. But the first 5 on each side, in each box that was inside this crate, were actually just regular magazines from one different thing. So it's like if anybody would have checked the crates, they would have seen normal magazines. Underneath them, they had 30 or 40 different names on the magazines with nothing but kiddie porn in it. And I remember having to go through that stuff with NAMBLA and putting them in envelopes. And then we didn't mail them from the NAMBLA office because their mail was really checked a lot. We took the mail, in fact, I brought most of it back here, mailed it right out of Nebraska. They'd give me the postage for it, they had the postage thing on it, and it'd be mailed right out of Nebraska from different locations and stuff, so they wouldn't, post office wouldn't get suspicious or anything out of it. And it's like you're mailing out several, probably close to 50, 60,000 copies of magazines to different guys.
How many trips did you make to the Netherlands for porno?
I don't know,
Yes.
10, 12.
And each time you brought back how much?
Each time I brought back, the least I ever brought back was 3 suitcases.
Were they magazines or were they pictures or what?
They were magazines, and then there was also the main thing that we brought back was there was a movie rolls and stuff that come in the roll and stuff that you can't open because if you open them, expose them to light, it ruins them. Well, it was like film on them, and they were just like each one was like a slot, it was like a film piece of magazines, so that they could take them over here and print the magazines over here with them. Instead of bringing back the magazines, they started doing it that way there at the last because it was harder to catch by the authorities because they won't expose the film to light. They can't, won't ruin it. And they can tell what it is by looking at the real stuff, but they never know what it is. Because you don't fly from the Netherlands to the United States, you always fly into England. You never take a plane, you never get a flight that says that you came from the Netherlands when you're going back to the United States stuff with this stuff, because they know that the Netherlands has a lot of child pornography stuff going on over there. So you just stay in England overnight, you get another plane another plane ticket, and you come in just straight from England. So nobody ever knows you ever went to the Netherlands. When you come over from the customs, it ain't on the flight records or none of that stuff. They don't have it. But
Your passport would have stamped Netherlands on it, though.
But you use a different passport.
Then you pull another passport.
That's why they gave us all the passports, and they kept giving us new ones every time we went somewhere.
So when you'd go overseas, you'd have like 5 passports for each trip?
You'd have several different passports. Sometimes you had to remember which ones you used in case you're in some of the same customs agents. can come to be a problem. But you know, it's like when we were going into California, so it was never a problem because they see so many people that, you know, if you're going there every couple of months, they'll never realize it. But when you're going to another country and you're going to be going through the same customs, maybe twice in 2 days, you know, 2 or 3 times in a couple of days, you take a couple of, you know, use the same passport, but you have a couple of them on the same one. So I never.
Did anybody in Omaha ever ask you to go to the Netherlands and pick up the porno material?
I picked up porno material for Walter Carlson over there, some of his group of stuff, and actually I picked up some. He didn't send no money because he traded them. He sent them some, they sent him some.
But he sent them some porno pictures.
Yeah.
What were the pictures of?
Myself, a couple of dozen other kids, a couple hundred other kids, and when they arrested them, they only got like 10,000 photographs.
When they arrested who?
Walter Carlson and Joe Burke and that whole group, they got like 10,000 photographs.
Of kids from probably overseas, right?
Well, kids from, that's just the kids that were from here.
Oh, from here?
The film that he got from overseas and stuff, he never kept at his place, and he never kept it at any of the other guys' places. He had another place that kept it at, and I know it's not there any longer, because I'm sure they've gone and went and got it. In fact, I know they have, because I tried to go and find that after I talked to the police in '86 and stuff, because I went and tried to find it, and it all disappeared. I mean, the whole...
You told the police where it was, and then it disappeared, huh?
Well, yeah.
Well, do you figure that the pictures that were taken here in Omaha ended up in the Netherlands and vice versa?
Yeah, they probably use them over there. And
can you, if I went to the Netherlands with you now, could you tell me where you delivered it?
I don't know. It depends on if they change the country.
Well, would you be able to go over there and find some pictures of the kids?
Would I be able to find them? Yeah. You can probably go to the store and buy some of them.
Pictures of you
I don't know.
and some of the other kids.
That one might take a little more doing, but I'm sure I could probably.
So if we put you on a plane and sent you over there with, say, somebody like me, we could probably find some pictures of American kids over there. Of course, I'd look too much like a cop. I couldn't do it. But I got some people that could do that.
Yeah.
So I think when we get some money down the road, we ought to consider that.
Yeah.
Don't you think maybe your pictures and the pictures of these local kids are probably already gone by now? Or...
Those type of pictures will circulate forever, because even though one pedophile might have seen it a million times, stuff, another one might think it's a new picture. I mean, when you're not wearing anything, they can't tell what the styles were, what you were wearing at the time. I mean,
well, are these pictures of babies too? Little 2, 3-year-old babies?
no, all these pictures were like. I mean, I'm sure they have them, but I never was involved with any guys that were like that. Most of the guys I was with, like kids that were like about older than 6, but under 16. And they went from 6 about that 10 years.
Were any of your guys involved in kids in under 6? 2, 3, 4-year-old kids, like preschool kids?
Some sickos from California and some up in Minnesota. Those were usually ones that were involved in generational Satanism and stuff that I remember being involved with that stuff.
Okay, and where in California?
Bakersfield.
Could you identify those people now?
Pretty much so.
And where in Minnesota?
See, was it Jordan? Yeah, Jordan, Minnesota.
Where they had the trials.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about the trials, but I know that I've been told about everything. That everything I've said is checked out, and people have told me just a very little bit about things I said about being right, and I'm like going, well.
Things you said about what?
About what some people in Minnesota and some people in California.
About the 2, 3, or 4-year-old kids.
Yeah, like in Minnesota. I
Huh?
knew some of the kids that were up there with the Bences.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, Bob and Linda Benz.
Oh, were they?
They were involved with the Minnesota Jordan. They abused their kids and stuff, and they got their charges dropped and stuff. And
You know the names of other individuals in Jordan, Minnesota?
James Rudd. He had a 17-year-old brother. They charged his 17-year-old brother. I remember this because we went up there and stuff. And the thing I got mad about was the fact they charged his 17-year-old brother and his parents and stuff with sexual abuse of children and stuff. And it's like a 17-year-old brother. I thought that was kind of wrong to charge a kid that was like that. He was abused all the time too. He was one of the victims himself.
That's one of the
And
problems.
they ended up dropping the charges against everybody.
How about
Except for
Bakersfield?
James Rudd.
You know any more people in Jordan, Minnesota?
Know some more, but I'd have to
Think about it.
think about it.
How about Bakersfield? Do you know any of the names out there?
Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what they were. I haven't thought about them for a long time. There was a lot of Satanism going on out there. 'Cause the people that were involved with the Anti Days group.
In Bakersfield.
Involved with the Days group and Church of California. And
Did you ever get in any of that 2, 3, 4-year-old sexual abuse down in the LA area? Things make you funny noise.
yeah, so.
Well, you stop and start again. It's not making the noise anymore.
Okay.
Okay, we turned the camera on and off because it was making a funny noise, and we're back on. We were just gone for a minute or so. Okay. Any of them down in the LA area? It's people that were involved in these 2, 3, 4-year-old kids.
Not sure.
You don't remember, or you don't think so?
I'm not sure. I'm just not. I don't remember.
You don't remember. Okay. Let's see, anything more on the drug runs and the porno runs? How many drug runs did you make?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know.
How many?
Because
Huh?
if you can guess, because like I didn't just do drug runs from there. I did drug runs from other places. I'm sure because we picked up stuff, but
Okay, from what period to what period? Just guess.
from 82 till 86, probably 100, maybe more.
All over the world, huh?
Usually it's from Philippines or from Mexico or from California.
Did
Mexico is
you,
usually what we get from.
where'd you go in Mexico?
I don't remember, but it's the easiest place to get stuff fast.
Where did you go in the Philippines? What town?
Usually it was just to, I don't even know, all I know is the airport we flew into. I was in the town that there are an airport's in, which is,
You don't remember what town?
Mexico. Mexico, I'm sure it was. We went to Mexico City. I remember that. Plus, we went to several other places. And in one place we went through the border when we was with Emilio was always in Nogales because he was friends with the customs agents that were there. And we had family that lived all over there. So we had family on both sides of the border, as far as I know. And we got in Nogales. And so.
That'd be out of Texas, wouldn't it?
Nogales?
Huh?
No, that's out of Arizona.
Was that Arizona? Tucson? Tucson area? Tucson's right near the border.
Yeah, it's close to that. Nogales, Arizona.
Okay. Okay, anything more about the drug runs and the porno runs?
Not much need to know.
Okay.
Just come back to stuff specifically on certain things. Or we don't forget about everything else.
No, what do you mean?
The rest of the list.
No, that's what I'm saying. Let's go back to the list.
Yeah, okay. The next guy is John Phillips, who I lived 2 times. 1977. He was from, I believe, Des Moines, but then I met him on the run in Omaha, so he may be lying about being from Des Moines. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not too many people told me exactly where they're from. thing about him is there's a guy that just got killed in a car crash not too long ago named John Phillips. And he had been about the right age, but I've never seen a picture of this guy, John Phillips, who was killed in a car crash. He was from Bellevue, or Sarpy County, I believe, is where he's from.
Where was he killed in a car crash?
Up in the Omaha area.
How do you know about it?
It was on the news. When I heard it on the news and stuff, the only reason I remembered it was because of the guy's name. And I remember when I heard it, I was like going, the name sounded familiar. And I remembered immediately where it was from, but I was wondering if it was the same person or not, so it might just be a coincidence.
Where did that activity take place, in Omaha?
Yeah, on the run. I got picked up. That was mainly on the run, but he was the guy that introduced me to Alan Bear in 1977. Or not, 77, yeah. 77, I was at some party stuff before I ever met Bear and did anything with him. It was like 70, I think it was 78 when I went to the party at the, this was at the, above the jail, right next to the Sense, because there's a penthouse above it. There used to be, I don't know if there still is now, but I can remember that penthouse perfectly. And I remember it had glass doors all around, it had a zebra skin rug, it had a white piano, it had an ivory tusk on the piano, it had a fake fire, or not a fake, it had a fireplace in it. The bathroom was the only thing that really stood out to me because it was odd. It had little cowboy scenes on the wall. I mean, the whole apartment was fixed up really nice, with $1 million furniture, it looked like. And in the bathroom, there was little cowboys on the wall. It kind of
Didn't mix?
didn't match for me. I mean, I looked at it, it's kind of like, who did the decorating in this place?
Well, why were the little cowboys, what were they doing?
I don't know. All I remember is I can remember the bathroom. Because I kept going back to it. I kept thinking that was a messed up memory. I thought it was, this can't possibly be a correct memory. And then I remember like going out the one room into the bathroom, and it's like I could never get it fixed. But it's like I just see little cowboy scenes on the wall. So I just said that was, and something else that I know confirmed that that's what it had in the bathroom. They had been there too, and had seen the cowboy scenes on the wall, and wallpaper in the bathroom. So it stood out just like Colonel Aquino's bathtub stands out because he has the tiger claws on it. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. We'll get around that.
We haven't gotten into
Huh?
that guy. We haven't gotten into that stuff yet.
And we got a long ways to go.
Next guy on the list is Mark Kilman. I was with him 3 times. He was from Lincoln.
Of the what time?
1978. Huh?
What'd you say? Mark Kilman from where?
Mark Kilman from Lincoln.
Oh, I thought you said something with the Century Times. I
I was with
misunderstood.
him 3 times.
Oh, with him 3 times, okay.
May have come out at the Century Times. So
Okay.
Say 3
Okay.
times.
Okay.
Get tired, I start slurring. And I met him on the run in Omaha. And I know he was from Lincoln because he came down here several times and went to his house. And he was in his early 20s. Lived with his mommy and daddy. And went to school at UNL. And he was a pretty smart guy. The next guy
What
is
year was that?
1978. He was 11 years old. Next guy is a guy named Bob Bentor, and he was also from Lincoln, and good friends with Mark Tillman, and he also went to UNL.
Year?
78.
How many
3
times?
times.
3?
3 times. Whenever Mark or Bob picked me up, they were usually together or something. So
Where did this activity take place?
in Omaha,
Oh,
they picked me up off the run, and we came down to Lincoln, so some of it took place here in Lincoln too. So
were in their homes or hotel or what?
usually it was at Bob's house because he had an apartment. Mark lived with his mom and dad. Actually, his mom because his dad was dead.
Yeah.
And I know he knew Alan Bear because we talked about it, so he told me to stay away from the guy. So the guy was death.
He said stay away from Alan Bear, huh?
He also said, he was in his, I don't know if he's in his 20s or his late teens. I mean, he was not an abusive guy. Neither one of them, Mark or Bob, neither one were abusive guys. They were, for people who abused me, they were the nicer ones. And I don't know if they were really abused because I was on the run and I was there for a reason.
When you say on the run, that's where
That's where the male prostitutes hang out.
that's where they hang out, like Santa Monica
Teenage
Boulevard in L.A.
prostitute, yeah.
Right? Okay.
And this guy on the list, I knew him as Steve from St. Paul, Minnesota, and I was with him one time. And I wrote from him on the list because besides being on the run one time, they just put down everybody that abused you. And time I just started putting down if I remember the name or not. And this guy's a guy named Dave Kruger.
So Steve was in Omaha then.
Yeah, he made a trip to Omaha for some reason. He's from St. Paul. I remember that because I looked at his license. That's also how I knew his name was Steve, but I didn't bother looking at the last name. I don't know why.
Yeah.
No. I was with Dave Kruger one time in 1978. He was from Des Moines. I met him on the run. So,
How many times?
so let me see. I said he's from Des Moines, still on the book. No, there's like a lot of people from Des Moines also. But not on the run. This guy was there 3 times. His name was Fowler. I'm trying to remember his first name for a long time. Met him in 1979. I also seen him at a party with Alan Bear, and I met him he was from Omaha. I also met him on the run. First picked me up on the run and we went to Alan Bear's parties because he didn't know I even knew Bear. And after we met each other at the party, but Jackson met happened at parties. This guy was with one time that I can remember. The reason I say that is I got around this guy and he drugged me a lot. So I don't know if it was more than once, but his name was Joe Ramos. He was a teacher from Chicago. And I met him on the run, but I also met him in Chicago. He ran a group of kids and stuff for another guy who got busted, who had a pink file, had a big file with all these guys' names and stuff. Minus, of course, well actually I don't know if it was minus their names or not, but nobody's ever came out with the fact that Alan Bear's name was in it, Harold Anderson's name was in it. In fact,
Where'd this file come from?
it was a file that this guy had kept. He got arrested, not Joe Ramos, because he's never been arrested. He was a teacher. That's how he got most kids for his business, because they prostituted kids out. And he was the one that recruited a lot of kids. He's never been arrested, as far as I know. Never been found out about. But
Why would you make a file of the perpetrators?
well, because they were all over the country and stuff. And the reason was he had on these file cards, he had what type of kids this person liked. And these people would call him and they would order kids from their own areas, and these guys would have kids from I was a kid from Omaha and I helped supply them with other kids that were my age and stuff to do things for men here in Omaha, and also in Chicago and New York.
So this guy was Chicago.
Yeah,
And he had pictures of the perpetrators.
No, he had file cards. He didn't. Joe Ramos didn't have them. The other guy had them. The other guy got arrested. They found this file card thing, but of course, the FBI, I believe, is the one that arrested them. So it's like any of the files that they didn't want to become public would have probably disappeared.
Well, who was in the file card?
I know Alan Bear was because I was in this apartment. And I had to make calls to some of these guys, and so when I did, I had to set up appointments for some people, and then I had to call the kids. The kids' files were kept in a different place. I mean, the file, they had over 100,000, I say probably close to 100,000 file cards.
Of perpetrators.
From all over the country.
And
that's also where the mailing list came from, to mail out things for...
when was this arrest made?
I don't know what it was made.
When did the FBI obtain these cards?
I'm not sure. It was in the 80s. I'm sure the FBI is the one that got them because they're the ones that were investigating it. They're the ones from
And
Chicago.
where was the arrest made?
area.
In Chicago? And who was arrested?
I don't remember what his name was. I've been trying to remember this guy's name, and I can't. All I know is he'd been in prison for molesting kids before that. And I arrested him for doing the same thing to some kids and stuff.
And whose name was on there besides Alan Bear?
Harold Anderson's name was
You know that Anderson's name was on there?
Yeah.
You what? You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. What other names did you see?
Ted Anderson and
You want to turn that off? It's 11:53, and I have a personal problem. I have to fly back to Los Angeles tomorrow morning first thing, so we will continue this at some date in the future, not too far distant in the future. Thanks very much.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you can't look at that television and say, nothing happened.